The movie starts with Dr. Yang Ji-soo conducting a serum experiment on his daughter to bring her back to life, but the police arrive to arrest him. At the same time, a severe earthquake occurs, and after that, Seoul turns into a wasteland, a post-apocalyptic world where everyone is for themselves and all are looking for food and water. Choi Ji-won, a young boy, likely out of hunger, encounters a crocodile and shoots it with his poisoned arrow, but that's not an ordinary one. It's likely a mutated species that attacks Choi Ji-won. However, a strong and brave man named Nam-san intervenes, and after a struggle, he manages to sever the crocodile's head with his large knife, saving Choi Ji-won. Next, we see a teenager named Han Soo-na living in these conditions with her grandmother. Then, we witness a scene where people, all desperate for water, are bartering everything they have, including crocodile meat that Nam-san and Choi Ji-won have hunted, exchanging goods with the people. Then, a woman with a strange and peculiar look gives a handful of decorative items as goods, and Nam-san also gives her a baby snake. The woman is somehow taken with Nam-san. Later, Han Soo-na and her grandmother come and exchange goods for an item instead of crocodile meat. Meanwhile, a gang of thugs is found attacking people mercilessly and attempting to extort them. They also look for the teenagers to capture them. One of them sees Han Soo-na and tries to take her by force. Choi Ji-won intervenes and gets into a fight with them. When Nam-san sees that Chewie is getting beaten up, he steps in and fights them all. He then grabs their leader and asks, "Who are you working for?" The leader, out of fear, mentions a person named Tiger, whom Nam-san happens to know as a dishonorable and cowardly man. Nam-san and Choi Ji-won encounter a strange group on their way, and Han Soo-na, her grandmother, is also present. The leader of this group is a woman who says, "I am a teacher, and we have a safe place in Seoul where we gather volunteers, and most importantly, young people for the future of the country." They persuade Han Soo-na to join their group, saying we have good food and clean water there. On their way to the promised safe haven in paradise, they separate the elderly from the young and take them somewhere else, where they murder them. Choi Ji-won coincidentally sees Han Soo-na's grandmother being murdered from behind by one of the terrifying group members with a knife. They understand and attack Choi Ji-won. Nam-san engages with them and puts an arrow into one of them's body, but they are not normal and do not die. Ultimately, they are killed by beheading, and then they bury the body of Han Soo-na's grandmother to pay their respects. They then meet a girl named Lee Yoon-ho, who explains that she used to be in the army and gets acquainted with a doctor who created a serum to create superhuman creatures. He has used this to revive her daughter and describes witnessing a soldier being shot in the eye and coming back to life. The only way to kill these creatures is to decapitate them by cutting their head off. The fraudulent teacher's assistant, Dr. Young Ji-soo, gathers people and speaks lies about the fake facilities of this shelter, such as clean drinking water, but it's all a wicked role. Nam-san, along with Ji-won and Lee Yun-hoo, go to the Tiger's Lodge to give him and his allies a serious lesson. Nam-san goes to find Han Soo-na and save his life, asking Tiger where they have clean water so he can find the crazy doctor's hideout. The Tiger says he works for the doctor and brings a young people to help him in making serum. The doctor's assistant, who has taken on the role of a teacher, talks to the kids and wants them to introduce themselves as well. She puts on a show of being a good person. Han Soo-na asking about her grandmother. They tell her lies, saying that she is sick and receiving treatments. Han Soo-na seems to feel that the doctor and his team are up to something, and she doesn't believe the water they give her. Han Soo-na decides to sneak into the doctor's workplace at night. She is confronted with horrifying information and documents revealing that the doctor is kidnapping young people like himself and turning them into lab rats. The doctor visits one of his troubled models, while the parents of the young man are worried about his well-being, but suddenly their child is killed during the insane experiments. The doctor and his military assistant commit the heinous act of murder against the parents of the child. All this is happening while Han-Soo-na is observing, but suddenly the doctor finds her. Nam-san and Lee Yun-hoo are getting ready for tomorrow's visit to Dr. Yang Gi-soo residence. Meanwhile, we will see Han-Soo-na, who has become Dr. Gi-soo's lab mouse. Nam-san came with the tiger to make sure they don't doubt him, but he makes a mistake, and they realize he wasn't supposed to come to the doctor today to bring the teenagers. They shoot at him, but Nam-san quickly goes to the hospital building with a car and crashes it into the building. Meanwhile, an army assistant tells all units to be ready and the war begins.
Nam-san, along with his friends, enters a region that is full of zombie-like creatures and mutations that the doctor has created. And now the battle begins. They fight these creatures with everything they have and bring them down. In another place, Nam-san cleverly shoots and detonates the loyal army behind the doctor with a grenade waiting at the back of the door. Then he encounters a group of immortal creatures again and kills them all with his large knife. Nam-san is really cool. He kills everyone with composure as if he is playing a game. The military officer, who had been ready, gets into a fight with Lee Yun-hoo. Our clever and cunning girl deceives him and suddenly strikes him in the eye with a knife. But because our military friend has used the doctor's serum, he is very strong. Poor Lee Yun-hoo throws her off the building.
In the meantime, Nam-san's eyes are caught by the beauty of our wild army friend. Then we see a scene of a doctor conducting his horrific experiments, and suddenly he feels sick. At that moment, Han-Soo-na, who had been unwell, tells him that she did not drink the water. It looks like she has poisoned him. And then Choi Ji-wan comes and tries to rescue Han-soo. Na with the gun he has, but the doctor's security forces hit him.
Nam-san gets into a serious scuffle with a mutated army soldier. A fierce battle ensues and reaches a level akin to that of the Terminator. Ultimately, we witness a scene where the army soldier smashes the head of the Nam-san against the wall. In the end, we see Nam-san separating our army friend's head using the window glass, and Doctor loses his army friend. Such a waste and also gross moment.
Nam-san enters the crazy doctor's room, and his secretary jumps in the middle. Nam-san also shoots at her. The doctor, seeing that she is dying, throws a grenade into the room and escapes. The floor of the building explodes and she killed. Then we see Lee Yun-hoo regain consciousness. The crazy and insane doctor escapes with the remains of his daughter, and as soon as he reaches the end of the building, people catch him and beat him to death. He suddenly goes crazy, takes a gun and shoots a group of innocent people. But then he damages the bag containing the remains of his daughter and completely loses his mind. Then Nam-san arrives and ends the doctor's life with a shot to his head. With the death of the doctor, the people who had been taken hostage there suddenly became free, and then clouds appeared in the sky and it started to rain, and the people were very happy. After that, Han-Soo-na, who had been saved, went to his grandmother's grave with his friends and prayed for her at the end. Nam-san returned to the same job of selling animal meat, and in the final scene, the same woman who had liked him offered him a drink, and he said, "I'm not into drinking," and left the scene.
Have fun, but don't forget to subscribe and like. Love you guys. See ya!